What is going on YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to be doing something that I've been looking forward to doing for a while now. So this space right behind me is going to be my future PC gaming setup. I have everything I need and I'm excited to really put it together. Make sure that you stick around throughout the video if you want to learn about any of the products that I use throughout the process. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Well, let's get started. I began by building a new desk for the setup, and having experience with the Secretlab Magnus Pro XL in black, I was very excited when they released the white version of it. Immediately I had one sent over, but since space was limited, I had to get the standard size, which was sized to fit the desk opening almost like it was built for it. The new desk arrived in two separate boxes. The first one contained several components including a toolkit, a cable tray, a rear cover in its own box, and a desktop at the bottom. Made entirely of metal, the desktop had a substantial weight to it, and it looked stunning in its all-white finish. I definitely appreciated the thoughtful packaging used here, especially the protective measures that were taken for sensitive components like the front control panel. The box also included an aftercare guide for maintenance and a detailed user manual for quick and easy setup. Since I had previously assembled one of these desks, I just needed a quick refresher to get things started. After reviewing the installation procedure, I brought in the second part of the shipment. This box contained all the parts needed to assemble the desk's feet, which also came in mostly white but also had some small black accents. There was also a desk mat included inside of the box, which is an optional add-on that I consider a must-have accessory when using this desk. I began putting together the desk by installing the feet. This involved connecting cables from each foot to the motor inside the desktop for height adjustments. My electric screwdriver proved invaluable throughout the entire setup process, and given the number of screws involved, it slightly reduced strain on my forearm and wrist while saving me a considerable amount of time. Next came installing the cable tray. This involved mounting two brackets on each end of the desk's back and then securing the tray with several screws. To complete the feet assembly, I went ahead and attached the stabilizing base plates. At that point, the desk was ready to be flipped onto its feet, which was of course much easier to do single-handedly than the XL model. Once the desk is standing, the manual suggests adding large items into the cable tray before installing the hinged rear cover to prevent issues related to the size of the opening. I first added a power extension box with various outlets, then went ahead and connected this to the built-in power outlet on the back of the desk's left foot. I also added my existing 5-port 10G switch to provide wired Ethernet connectivity for my PC and other compatible devices. I spaced both items appropriately and connected the switch to one of the receptacles on the extension box. After that was complete, I installed the hinged rear cover by aligning and screwing in both ends, creating easy access to the cable tray. The setup process was nearly finished at this point. All that remained was connecting the provided power cable to the bottom of the left leg and adding covers for the cable management openings on both sides of the desk. Removing the styrofoam cover from the front of the desk reveals an integrated control module, which is one of my favorite features of the Magnus Pro in general. This module includes programmable number buttons for preset desk heights, up-down controls for adjusting the desk, and a power toggle. After plugging in the desk, the final step was to calibrate its maximum and its minimum heights. With the desk fully set up and functioning correctly, I brought in the desk mat, another new release from Secretlab. Their new silver suede design matched the white desk perfectly. The desk mat was made to cover the entire surface of the desk from one end to the other. Installation involved sliding the metal supports on one end to hold it in place, rolling out the mat, and then attaching another metal support on the opposite side. While rolling out, I made sure to carefully align the mat along both of the longer sides of the desk. Next, I added ambient lighting using the Mag RGB strip, a collaboration between Secretlab and Nanoleaf. It's always been my favorite desk LED strip simply because it uses built-in magnets for mounting instead of adhesive tape. It can be mounted just about anywhere on the desk since the entire thing is made of metal. I first tried installing it below the rear cover to keep it out of sight while still enjoying the lighting effect, but unfortunately the weight was a bit too much and it kept falling off. I ended up moving it to the top instead, where I still think it looks fantastic. The next step was installing the monitor riser, another recently released modular accessory for the Magnus Pro. All of its parts, including the toolkit, came in a single box. The riser's top consists of two parts, a wooden base and a metal cover. I laid everything out and began the assembly process, almost immediately. And this involved attaching the 2 feet to the base with screws and then mounting the entire unit onto the desk. This is a great feature and one I've never seen in a desk riser before. The fact that it attaches to the desk instead of sitting on it saves desk space and provides a more secure placement for it. Using a tape measure, I made sure to center the riser to ensure equal spacing on both sides. After tightening the screws to secure it in place, I installed the metal cover and side covers, which marked the last step in putting the desk together. I moved on to tackling the gaming chair's assembly. Having had great experience with the Secret Lab Titan Evo, just like with the Secret Lab Magnus Pro, I chose the same model for this setup. This time though, I went for a silvery white color with some black accents. I did this in order for it to line up with the aesthetic I was going for in the space. I unpacked everything from the box and started building from the base all the way up. Inside the box, there was a quick setup guide with visual instructions that showed how to build the chair step by step. Since I remembered assembling my previous chair, I only needed to skim through the guide as a refresher. Assembly went by very quickly and soon I was able to enjoy all the chair's features. Some of my favorites are the backrest recline and 4D armrest adjustments. The next step was preparing the mounting area for the monitor. I started off by modifying the power and cable pass-through unit in the center of the wall. Before moving in, I'd asked the builders to install a flex tube connecting the middle of the wall to the bottom, along with a Cat 6 Ethernet jack and power outlets at the middle of the wall. This setup would eventually make cable management easier and provide convenient power and internet access for the monitor. For this step, I simply needed to move the Ethernet jack to the bottom by running an Ethernet cable through the flex tube from the top to the bottom. I also ran an HDMI 2.1 cable through for the monitor to PC connection coming later. At the bottom of the flex tube, I used a white cable management tube to conceal the various colored cables and create a much cleaner look that complemented both the wall and the desk. For the monitor, I decided to go with a wall-mounted design instead of a desk-mounted one. I picked up a small low-profile wall mount rated for up to 44 pounds, which is more than enough for my monitor. It came in 2 parts, one unit for the wall and another for the back of the monitor. The wall unit only needed a single stud for mounting, which was one of the main reasons I actually chose it in the first place. Using a small level, I made sure the wall unit was straight before marking the drilling spots. After getting both screws most of the way in, I made final adjustments to ensure everything was perfectly level so my monitor wouldn't look crooked, and then went on to tighten. Next up was mounting the monitor, and I decided to go with a 49-inch super ultra wide, which I've been using for over a year now. It's been excellent for both gaming and multitasking, and as a gaming focused monitor, it features an impressive OLED display with a 240Hz maximum refresh rate, so I thought, why not use it for a gaming setup like this one? After securing the VESA attachment to the monitor's back, I was pretty much ready to mount it up. Thanks to its very slim and lightweight design, I was able to easily mount it on the wall single-handedly. It fit perfectly in that opening with equal gaps on both sides, really maximizing the space in there. The next step was to incorporate storage and display boxes for some of my favorite gaming items. I went to IKEA to pick up something called Eket Cube boxes. They come in various sizes, some with doors and some without. I chose 9 boxes in 2 color variations, dark gray and white. I selected different styles to create an aesthetic complement, including one with a door for storage. While building each box was straightforward, it did take some time. After assembly, I prepared to mount them onto the wall, and since the wall mounting units aren't included with Eket boxes, I had to buy those separately. This stage required precise measurements to avoid alignment issues that could easily cascade into bigger problems down the line. Each of the mounts included an alignment template, which proved invaluable for visualizing the final layout. Though this could have been done alone, I was grateful for the extra help, which definitely minimized the chances of mistakes being made. After arranging the mounting templates, I checked each one for the level before installing 75-pound drywall anchors where I couldn't find studs. For the spots that did have studs, I pre-drilled mounting holes. Screwing the mounting brackets into the wall went by very quickly, and then came the moment of truth, mounting the boxes to see if we'd made any mistakes. Everything seemed to be working out perfectly well until we got to the final box at the top of the wall. Without enough clearance to get that box on there, I decided to leave it out. This also meant removing its mounting bracket, patching the holes, and repainting that section. Even without the last box getting in there, I was still really pleased with how the final result turned out. The wall above the monitor looked bare and very uninspiring, so I decided to enhance it using some old nanoleaf hexagons from a previous TV setup. They definitely weren't in the greatest condition from being moved, but they were still very much usable. We designed a pattern and began mounting the panels one by one. The first piece was crucial. It needed to be perfectly level since it would determine the alignment of the entire design. As we added the second piece, we carefully maintained the same level position while connecting it. From there, the rest of the pattern came together very quickly using all of the available hexagons. While I considered buying more panels, my recent experiences with nanoleaf products have made me hesitant to invest further. The hexagons are just a temporary solution for me until I find something that better matches my vision for the wall. For now, I'm pretty pleased with my chosen pattern, and I particularly enjoy how it synchronizes perfectly with the desk strip light since they're both from the same company. I've run into an issue with ambient lighting for my staggered storage boxes right behind me. So I put those up, not really thinking about how to get lighting in them because I plan on using them as display boxes and a single one as storage for cleaning supplies and just general stuff when I'm in here, because I'm not gonna have an Alex drawer or any kind of drawer, you know, right next to the desk. So I wanted to have something on the wall there. I forgot to plan what I was going to do for ambient lighting for back there. And now it looks like everything is just disappearing into the darkness. I can't have that. So I'm going to be DIYing the entire process. This is something that I've never done before, but I gotta get lighting back there. So let's see how it goes. I purchased all of the necessary supplies from Amazon before beginning. Through trial and error, I initially attempted to use a 6-pin cub LED strip, but ultimately ended up switching to a 3-pin SMD strip for easier installation. The cub light proved impossible to work with for a few reasons, the main one being due to the tight working space and small openings in the cube boxes. I started by plotting out a pathway for the LED strips to follow from bottom to top. Once I had that, I drilled holes in the corners of each one to allow daisy chaining the light across them all. After that, I decided to install LED channels in different areas to create a more refined look, especially since I had to resort to SMD style LED strips, which don't usually look good without an LED channel. I had to wait for the new items to arrive, so while that was happening, I decided to move on to the next task, which was adding my gaming PC. So this is the PC that I'm going to be using to drive this entire setup here. And I've had it for a while now. It's the Player 3 Prime from NZXT. We've got a 4090 RTX GPU in this beast right here. So no problem handling any kind of games. There's also 64 gigabytes of RAM in this thing. And it uses NZXT's cooling system as well. So it's like this radiator is all in one cooling system, which is really nice. And this finish, come on. It's just beautiful. It's also a great size, so compact. I really enjoyed using it during the time that I've had it and will continue to enjoy it with this setup right here. My plan is to mount the PC under the desk using Secret Labs PC mount. So it pretty much is a modular part of this entire desk that you can, attach a PC to if you're trying to save some space on top of your desk. And I'm trying to do that. As you can see, there's a 49-inch ultra-wide right there. But this will look great down here. You're gonna be able to see all the lights, the interior of the PC, everything from this side. The cool thing about the mount is that you can mount on either side of the desk, so it doesn't matter which side you pick, but I'm gonna be doing it right here because I wanna be able to see what's inside the PC and admire and appreciate it. But let's go ahead and do that. So the way this mount works is you wanna adjust its height to the height of the PC and then you lock it in place. That's how it keeps it in place and holds it up there. Try to center it there. And there we go, it's locked in. There's a little knob you turn right here that just kind of locks it in place. With most of the setup complete, it was time to add desk accessories, starting with speakers. Space was limited at the back of the desk due to the towering 49-inch monitor, so I needed speakers that were designed for small spaces. Having upgraded my main setup with larger speakers, I decided to move my previous ones here. A pair of 6 inches tall desktop speakers with excellent stereo sound. Their white build with black accents was such a great match for the desk setup's aesthetics and fit perfectly right next to the monitor on both sides. I added low profile wide stands as well to angle the speakers towards ear level, which improved their sound quality compared to placing them directly on the desk. The last step was connecting the speakers to each other using speaker wires and then connecting the powered unit to power and to the PC below. I brought in my new gaming keyboard next. I've been really excited to try it out since it's my first keyboard with magnetic switches. It's the Keychron Q1HE, designed primarily for gamers while remaining versatile enough for enough uses. The keyboard comes with a 2.4G USB dongle for low latency wireless connection, which is way better than Bluetooth. It also features Bluetooth and wired modes for additional connectivity options. The build quality is exceptional with an all-metal exterior. When I first took it out the box, I was immediately hit by its weight, being the heaviest keyboard I've ever owned. It's totally the kind of heft that speaks to premium build quality, but I wouldn't suggest traveling with something like this. I chose the white model, which also features green accents on some of the keys. The white perfectly matches the desk's aesthetics, while the green accents add a welcome pop of color to the desktop area. Besides the magnetic switch, it also has some other unique features like a control knob and programmable keys that I'm very eager to explore once the setup is complete. For now, I plugged it in to charge while moving on to the next item. Having loved the size and weight of the original Logitech G Pro X Superlight, I decided to get a successor for my next setup. I chose the white model to match the desk setup's aesthetics seamlessly. When I unboxed it, I was delighted to find out that it was just as lightweight as its predecessor. The most notable upgrade to me is the switch from micro USB to USB-C charging. The new model also features a higher pull-in rate and replaces mechanical switches with optical ones. Like the keyboard, it also comes with a 2.4G USB dongle for low latency wireless connection to the PC, though unlike the keyboard, it doesn't include Bluetooth functionality. The next addition was definitely the most exciting one for me. It's called the Mambo 1, and it's essentially a PC controller with a 2-inch full-color LED display built into it. It's still a fairly new type of product that's actually not very common to see out there. For connectivity, it's compatible with PC, Switch, iOS, and Android. Upon opening the box, I found the controller sitting in its charging dock. The design immediately catches your eye with its striking mix of white and transparent materials. It features the familiar Xbox-style controller layout that's become standard these days. The 4 menu buttons are positioned at the bottom with 4 additional programmable buttons on the backside. The controller uses Hall effect joysticks and triggers, features known to extend a controller's lifespan. The triggers can also be switched between 2 positions for different gaming styles. Perhaps the most exciting feature is that 2-inch screen that it comes with that promises to streamline tasks like pairing and button programming. While I haven't tested it out extensively yet, once I do, I'll share some more detailed feedback of some real-life use case. The controller also ships with a small white charging station and a USB dongle for stable low-latency connection. The station perfectly complements the controller's design with an all-white color and a storage enclosure below designed to hold the wireless USB dongle. Charging is effortless. The magnetic pins on both devices simply need to make contact and it's off to the races. The Mambo 1 comes with short joysticks pre-installed, plus a longer set that can be easily swapped out. I positioned the docking station right below the center of the ultrawide monitor for easy access. And as a nice touch, the screen shows a charging status icon when the controller is docked. While it was being charged, I brought in the last item for the desk, a Razer Black Shark V2 hyper-speed wireless gaming headset. The white model also features black accents around the headband and ear cups. Unlike typical USB dongles, this headset comes with a unique receiver that connects to a USB-C cable, which in turn connects to a PC. I placed the receiver inside the desk's cable tray to keep it as close as possible to my sitting position. This placement ensures minimal latency for wireless audio transmission. Another one of Secret Lab's magnetic accessories proved invaluable here, a headset holder designed to attach anywhere on the metal desk. I decided to mount it on the bottom left side, keeping it out of the way while maintaining easy access to the cable tray for charging when needed. The final task was completing the DIY LED lighting installation for the cube storage area. Once all the components arrived, including the SMD style LEDs, I began the installation. Working with the 3-pin SMD strip proved much simpler than the 6-pin cup strip, especially given that tight workspace I was talking about. The SMD strip required much less wires and had better connector options available, a significant improvement over the Cobb LEDs, which lacked decent connectors anywhere I searched. After completing the installation, I was still very happy with the final result and thought it looked great. Despite the various challenges that I faced along the way, I was still pretty proud of myself for successfully bringing this part of the project to life. All right, so I'm done putting together the space here, and it looks exactly as I had imagined. I was able to get everything that I needed to get done in here, so that for me is a huge plus. The last stage of the entire process, though, that was a lot of work. That took a lot more time and a lot more effort than I had expected or thought of, because I've done projects that involves using LED backlighting or LED strips before, but this one was crazy. This was really crazy. Took me a lot of time, and I had to do a lot of trial and error to get to where I got it to. So now it looks pretty decent. You know, we got lighting all behind there, which was a big problem for me. I can't have an entire area of a gaming setup that's just dark. You know, I didn't want to use anything that was battery powered, so I'm gonna have to keep switching them out, charging, and all of that. There's all sorts of cool things at the desk, which I'll go over in my next video, which is going to be a tour of the entire space, where I'll go over individual peripherals and just what makes up the space. Because this video was about putting together this space. That's pretty much all I've got for this one for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it every single time.